The Secrets of Technology is brought to you by the StarQuest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give. You're listening to The Secrets of Technology. Hi, I'm Dom Bettinelli, and you're listening to The Secrets of Technology, where we discuss the technology news that's important to you from a uniquely Catholic point of view. And joining me today on the panel is Joanne Mercier. Hey, Joanne.
Hey, Dom. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. No, what is it? My dad always said this. Buon Natale? Yeah, that's the Italian
Buon
Christmas.
Natale,
yeah. Yes, it is our first episode of the new year, 2024, and we're back after a brief Christmas break. I hope everyone had a great holiday who's listening. I wanted to, before we get into it, just ask if you got any fun tech stuff for Christmas gifts this year, Joanne.
Oh, I had a tech Christmas, let me tell you. It was incredible. I'm surprised because the husband is not the greatest when it comes to, okay, let's do tech here because he always gets it wrong. Yeah. And he says, well, go take it back and you can do it.
Yes.
Because I had admired his Fantic tire inflator. Of course, I got the tire inflator.
Nice.
But not to be undone with that, he also got me a Fantic Apex jump starter.
Oh.
Instead of using, there's about 20,000, it's a big battery. Okay, so it also will double as a battery in case we need to recharge things.
Right.
But it's got the two clamps attached to it. So you put it on your battery, you hit the button, and you don't have to go look for another car to jumpstart your battery.
Those are really nice, really handy. Yeah.
Yep. As I get Subarus, whether I get another one soon or not, are known for like every 3 years your battery just goes. Ugh. It just kind of like dies whenever you least expect it.
Yep.
So this is going to be a huge godsend for me.
That's a great thing for anybody to have in their car. Yeah.
And they're on sale right now.
Oh, check it out, folks. Yeah, we'll have links in the show notes,
sale.
Of course, but definitely.
Of course, I also got the Isotoner Smart Gloves because I'm tired of taking my gloves off all the time to kind of go into my phone and swipe up or swipe back. So I got a nice pair of those. Mm-hmm. I got some corded Apple Watch bands. Now, the thing with Apple Watch bands is you can buy them in Apple and they're way too expensive.
Right.
But if you get them from Amazon, like my husband did, I got 4.
That is like the biggest life hack. If you have Apple Watches, don't buy you could go ahead and buy the Apple Watch bands if you have money to burn, but you can get stuff that is like looks the same, and it may not be it's definitely not the quality. But for the price you're saving, you could buy 4 or 5 of them or more before you would reach the price of the Apple band. So that is great.
Yeah, I'll tell you, they are not the complete. They are complete as far as going around, but it has the little adjustment piece, and that's the only thing. But I had friends who had real problems trying to get the Apple ones and had to take them back 2 or 3 times because they'd also loosen up after a period of time.
Right. Yeah, the Apple ones are fitted. They're fitted to the size of your wrist, whereas what you've got is adjustable. And frankly, I think the fitted looks sleek and cool, but you're right. It's got that issue of it getting the right fit and then have it loosen up over time.
And this will loosen up. I mean, these cheaper ones will loosen up as well. So this, at least you have a way to make it tighter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
And the last thing I got, well, most people will think this strange, but I got an IOU for an iPhone 15 Pro.
Okay.
Actually, it was get whatever you want. And it was like, don't tell me to get whatever I want. But my husband is a tax preparer as well as an accountant. So he said, just let me start tax season. And I'm like, okay, so I have the IOU in my hand and I'll be going in February.
Nice. Very nice. That'll be great. So,
What about you?
So we do our family gifts. So the kids get Santa gifts on Christmas, but we do our family gift giving on Epiphany. That's a tradition we inherited from Melanie's family, and so I haven't gotten any tech gifts yet, but I did do a bunch of tech stuff over this our little break. Steam has its annual winter sale of video games, and I picked up some very inexpensive ones. Baldur's Gate 3, which is the game of the year. People are saying it's really a lot of fun. It's Dungeons and Dragons in the computer game. I got another one called Heart of Iron, which is like a World War II like wargaming strategy thing, which I have to figure out because I started playing. I'm like, I don't know how this works. I need to like dig into how it works.
Sort of like Battleship, maybe.
Yeah. It's well, if it were that simple, it'd be a lot easier. That's for sure. It's got a complex game mechanic, and people have told me, you like watch a few videos of people playing it, and that you'll figure it out from that. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cheap. I didn't pay a lot of money for it, so I'm not too worried about that. Now, American Truck Simulator is a game that I've been playing for a while. You know, people don't understand the appeal of so you're driving a truck everywhere. I'm like, yep, it's very relaxing. Okay. But they had this special Christmas event where you can deliver gifts to and from Winter Wonderland, which is a special magical place that you're transported to with different villages. It's like Santa's. I call it the North. I tell the kids it's the North Pole. It's like Santa's village at the North Pole, and it's actually very pretty. They did a really good job designing it. So I did that, and then a couple other things I did as my kids play Minecraft, as I think everybody's kids do at some point or another. And they were bugging me about setting up a Minecraft server. That way they could play together in the same world and, help and sort of stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Can they invite friends into that world too, or is it just for them when you put the server together?
If you set the server up so that it's accessible from the internet, yes, they could. I set it up local just so that it's on our local network. And I tried to set it up on my NAS, my Synology network attached server and storage using a Docker container, which I was following these instructions online, which were really good, but it didn't work. I don't know what went wrong, but something went wrong with it. So then I set it up on my Mac itself. Now I don't want to keep that running all the time because I use my Mac to do like things like this, StreamYard, and then I don't need my kids' Minecraft games sucking my CPU. So I have I run it when they're going to play, which is good because I don't want them playing on all day long either. So So I set that up and I followed a bunch of instructions online, and we may do a future episode. You won't have to be on this one, Joanne.
Thank you.
Where we talk about setting up Minecraft servers. It's
not that I'm falling asleep during all of your gaming talk, but
it's not your thing.
Not my jam. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Mahjong Online is about as much as I can get into gaming.
Well, and that's the thing I love about our panels is that we have a diverse set of tech interests, and we can call on people to do different tech things at different times. So that's great. And then the last thing I did was my son was asking me if he could use the Meta Quest, the VR headset, to play this new game he saw called Lego Brick Tales, where you build Lego stuff in VR, which I thought was pretty cool. I have to be honest, I hadn't used the headset in ages. So I had to update it, and I gotta say, Meta is really doing really good job with their software. I mean, it still looks really nice. And still we've got the older Meta Quest 2, and it looks pretty good.
And what happens when the Vision Pro comes out this year?
A Vision Pro is far in the future for me because there's no way I can drop $3,500 on a headset, no matter how good it looks. I'd love it, but I can't do that. So
I understand.
Yeah. But the nice thing is they can play, walkabout mini golf with their grandmother who's 2,000 miles away. And they were doing all that on, the New Year's Day. So it was a lot of fun. Let's move on to our main topic. Now that we've talked about all that, there was a story out recently from this company that claimed in its pitches to other companies, that it's a marketing company, and they claimed that they could provide to other companies access to people's private conversations by tapping into data gathered by microphones on their phones, TVs, and other personal electronics. And that understandably freaked people out because, for years people have been claiming that this is what happens, and tech people and these tech companies have been responding like, no, they're not doing that. They can't do that. They would violate the terms of service that they've already, Amazon and Google and Apple and, these other companies said exist on these devices, or Facebook or whatever. And this is a third-party marketing company. And when the media started poking around, this company kind of went quiet. They and sort of backtracked a little bit. I mean, they claim to have something called active listening technology using AI to detect relevant conversations and stuff. And people were like, oh, we've been lied to. My Echo and my HomePod and my iPhone are all listening to me. But the fact is, they're not.
Yeah, look, I got rid of in my house all of my A-ladies.
Okay.
Except for one. Okay, because I know that Amazon does a little bit more listening than Apple does. Okay, yep. Because they wouldn't keep saying to me things like, oh, by the way, or just out of the blue, did you know, blah, 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 blah. And I know it's tied into my Prime account, and I know it's, so they're scanning, even if they're not listening, they're scanning my Prime account.
Right.
And they're trying to sell me things in the middle of the night. And I'm like, I really don't want to be bothered with you right now.
That's the thing. So it's not so much that it's listening to, that they're constantly marketing to you.
Right.
When I've asked you something, it's like, oh, by the way, did you want to buy toilet paper? I'm like, no, I'm not.
Who cares?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm doing something else. I asked you for like a substitution for a recipe or something, and you're trying to sell me something else. It's like, ugh, it's like, yeah, that's different. Yeah.
It's one of the reasons why we got rid of them. But with Apple, at least, on Christmas Eve, my husband was home cooking while I was working. And I have my Apple phone, and I think I have the HomePods are also set for this, in case of if it hears certain things go on in the house, for it to notify me. Okay? So I've got right on it right now, I've got glass breaking, I've got alarms, I've got dog barking. I've got those three.
Yep.
He accidentally set the alarm off, smoke alarm off.
Right.
And that's a whole other story. That is no reflection on his cooking skills. Yeah. It's just the way our kitchen is built.
My house too. Yeah.
Right. So he set it off, and my phone in my office immediately went off and said, critical alarm, their smoke alarm is going off in your kitchen. It knew exactly where.
You're right.
That's the kind of stuff I want it to listen to.
Exactly.
That's the kind of stuff I want it to tell me. But if I ask it something and then it says, oh, by the way, do you want it? No, I don't want that.
So in this article I pulled up from, I think, PC Mag, according to a study they did 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago now, in 2019, 43% of American smartphone owners believe that their phones are recording them without their permission, which I think is interesting given that people haven't given up their phones knowing this. It's kind of funny that even though people believe that they're doing this, they allow it, apparently. It's kind of odd.
I think we know that there's going to be some amount of listening, because in order just to make what we have work better, they need to see if it's working, because not all of us are going to send them something back saying this doesn't work.
Well, there's certainly...
So I get that part.
Yeah, they're listening for the wake words, right? That's why we have to say S lady, A lady, Cortana. Does anyone say Cortana? I don't know, but somebody might.
I don't know.
Or the Google, wake word. That's why that exists. It's listening for that. If it were just like listening to all our conversations and responding, like, I wonder, what the capital of Malawi is, and then Alexa woke up and started telling me, I would be that would concern me a lot more.
That'd be freaky, yeah.
Yeah.
But again, it's one of those things where it even hears its wake word. It thinks it hears its wake word and wakes up. My husband's Shlomo went off yesterday.
Yep.
And it turned on my HomePod. And she started going off. And I'm like, okay, everybody, and she wouldn't stop, so I pulled her plug. It's very easy. Just pull the plug and then put the plug back in.
Right.
But,
that happens a lot.
They have to listen, but sometimes they get it wrong too, even off the TV.
Right.
My watch goes off a lot too, for some reason. My watch has an ability to go off.
And that's the thing is they, like Apple and Amazon and Google have all said, yes, we do sometimes get snippets of conversations of things, and we will sometimes listen to some of those, but they get so many of them, they don't listen to all of them. And it's only very brief until it goes away. But they sometimes listen to determine what caused the wrong, the wrong wake, the mistaken waken, and that way they can adjust. So the thing is they don't. These companies don't want to listen to everything you say because it's too much. They can't filter through all of that. But a lot of people believe that they're being listened to because they'll have a conversation with somebody about a thing, and then suddenly an ad for that thing shows up on Facebook or somewhere on Google. And
the thing with Facebook, I think, is a totally different thing. And I've tried to play with that a little bit, where I'll see an ad on Facebook. I won't click it, but I'll go to my own browser, look up the company, look at the ad, and the next time I got 4 more of them.
Well, and
so somehow it's connecting.
It's the cookie. So there's a Facebook tracking pixel, right? So when you're logged in on Facebook, there's they know that that's you. When you go to another site, that site will often have Facebook stuff installed on their site. Okay. And so when you go there, Facebook knows, oh, you're Joanne, you've logged in on our site. So you've gone to the site and liked this sort of thing. And that's why when you visit sites, suddenly Facebook is showing you ads for that.
Exactly.
But so as far as the conversational thing, we talked about going on vacation to Aruba, and suddenly I was getting ads for Aruba. It's not that they're listening. It's actually a lot easier for them than that. What they do is they've been tracking you across your sites, that tracking pixel. They're tracking your friend, and you and your friend are both, connected. Usually, your Facebook friends. Sometimes a phone will, using location services, you've given location service information to an app on your phone. And so it knows you're here and your friend's phone is there, and it starts to look at what your friend has been searching and what you've been searching.
Yikes.
And that's really, so it's actually in some ways more insidious than if they just listen to you.
Yeah, I think so, because it takes a lot of work to be able to figure all that out.
Right. A lot of these companies, we've talked about this many times, a lot of these companies are building these huge shadow profiles of us based on our behavior, online and offline. What you buy at Target or Costco or at your supermarket, all of that information is compiled, especially like at Costco. Everything you buy there is tied to your identity, right? You have a Costco membership or Sam's or whatever it is. Similarly, if you use a credit card or debit card to shop at any place, which nearly everybody does, they have that. They can connect that number with your shadow profile, and so they know so much about us just based on the amount of data we leave laying around everywhere we go in the real world and online, that it's just a matter of number crunching. So it's not that they're listening to you. Sometimes it's maybe something a little worse, which is there's just so much data about us everywhere.
Every once in a while, I will Google myself just to see what it has on me, and I'm glad it doesn't have a lot, which is nice.
Yep.
I've Googled other people, however, and I see the piles of stuff that they have. I think in this day and age, you just have to realize you are going to be followed. You are going to be listened. You're going to be seen because there's cameras everywhere.
Right.
The good part of that is if something should go wrong, these are aids in helping to, bring about a more positive solution than negative. In the other way, you have to be more vigilant. You have to be more on top of things. And you basically have to say, look, I'm just going to use this for this, and that's it. And go with it. But as far as intrusive listening, again, the only reason that the A ladies disappeared, except for one, which is our alarm clock, is because I did not like the back and forth of, oh, and by the way, I mean, even if I ask it now, read my notifications, I get the notifications. Oh, and no, quiet.
Yes.
I don't want to hear anything else.
Yes. One of my common phrases is, shut up, Alexa.
And now you've just quieted probably 15,000 Alexas.
Actually, the nice thing is I figured out a way to automatically turn off my Echo when I start podcasting.
Oh, good.
So I put it on a smart outlet so that it turns off. So but I may have shut up everybody else's. So you're welcome. And that's the thing I was going to say was, with these devices around us, we may want to figure out ways to, even though they're probably not listening, if we want to figure out how to prevent them from doing that anyway, maybe, any loopholes. Like, for example, I don't really trust Facebook not to break the rules. They have broken the rules in the past for App Store stuff. Yeah. So you may want to go into your phone and turn off its access to your microphone. Just turn it off. I was actually looking on the iPhone. So I this article from Kim Commando from back in this past September 2023. I'm going to put a link in the show notes. Has a bunch of information, and it talks about if you want to turn off your microphone for Facebook on your iPhone, go here. And it's got instructions for Android too. But I went and I'm like, you know what? It doesn't have a listing for microphone there. And I think iOS 17 may have actually removed that altogether, that access, or Facebook itself removed it because people, we're getting paranoid about Facebook, and they're like, we should stop, making people paranoid. That would be a nice difference.
This may be like a side argument here or a side observation, but people need to understand that when you have an iPhone, a smart device, there are two parties involved in the smart device: the people who make the smart device and the people who make the apps.
Right. And
people tend to blame the smart device people for the things that the app people are doing, even if the smart device people are trying to control the app people. You really need to understand, people try to circumvent, especially in Apple's case, they try to circumvent, the conditions or controls, and then they have to go in, pull them out, put them back again. So don't blame your device off, be the first thing to blame. There is another layer here.
Right. And, Apple does a pretty good job of trying to provide that privacy. And, but there can be a little blame if the tech company who makes the device isn't providing ways to secure your data. If Apple or Google or Amazon aren't providing the things that the people have to break through or, cheat on the rules, then they could accept a little blame. But one of the things, like I think not enough people know, like on an Echo, if you get an Amazon Echo, there's a button on that turns off the microphone, and and then and on the ones that have a camera, there's a slide to cover physically cover the camera. So you can, I have the camera on my Echo Show, whatever, on my desk. The camera's covered, it's got a physical cover on it.
Mine too.
With the Echoes, if you press that button, that there's like a circle with a line through it that looks like a microphone with or a circle with a line through it. If you press that, it turns red. that turns it off. That's not a software button. That is a hardware button. That cuts the voltage going through the microphone. People have taken apart Echoes to confirm that, yes, it does that. It turns off the microphone. So you can have privacy.
The best Amazon device was the Amazon Tap, which I have, which is the portable speaker. You had to turn the A-Lady on. It was off by default.
Right.
And you had to turn her on in order for her to listen to you. And I still have it in my office. It's a speaker for my computer, and she's not on because I don't want her listening to me in my office. Yeah,
in the early days, you had to actually, for the tap, you had to actually tap the button to get it to listen to you. Like you had to take a physical action.
Right. I have the one where you hit, you don't have to hold it, but you hit it and you can leave it on or you can hit it and it goes off.
Right.
So
yeah. So
I love that thing.
Yeah.
They got rid of it fast.
Yeah. I was going to say, I don't think they make it probably for that reason.
They don't.
So this article on Kim Commandos, will tell you how to do it for your Google Assistant, Siri, Echo, Facebook, Cortana, and then even for some home security systems like the Ring,
the Nest,
the
Ring,
Smart TV. Smart TV is the one where I actually kind of give into the paranoia a little. Like I do not trust Samsung, Vizio, LG. I don't use the Smart TV functionality on any TV. I never give it Wi-Fi. I never give it access to the internet because they have said in their terms of service, they will report back to home base what you're doing on your TV. Oh, I don't want that. Or even
same here.
Listening to the room, nope. Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Same here. I go on every once in a while, have it pull down whatever update. Yep. I put it on my calendar, update TVs. I have a Sony, a Samsung, and a Vizio. Okay. I'll go in once every 6 months, pull down new software, and then back out again just to keep it, because I don't know what else is. But what I want to know is if it's collecting information, where's the microphone?
Oh, it's inside. I mean, it's right there.
Yeah, but why can't we use it?
Oh,
like say if we wanted to use like a Zoom now on Apple TV or something, why can't we use that?
Oh, because they don't want you to know that there's a microphone there.
Exactly, and that's why my smart TVs aren't smart.
Yes,
they're
exactly,
dumb.
Exactly. So one thing that iPhone users can do, I don't think there's anything like this on Google, but this is something. This works because all of the companies like Facebook have complained, a lot about it, which is Apple prevents apps from tracking you across different apps. Like when you're in the app, whatever you do in the app, they can track you. If you're in the Facebook app, they know everything you're doing in the app. But what you don't want is them to track you when you get out of the app. And so one of the things you can do in the privacy settings is turn off, allow apps to request to track. Make sure that's off, because then they can't even ask you for permission. And because otherwise if you leave it on but say no every time, they just keep asking, and it's really annoying. So just turn it off.
But it's such a satisfying thing.
Oh yes.
When you just sit there and go, nope.
You cannot track me outside of your app. Nope. Yeah, that is good. So as far as this company that originally made this claim, this CMG, I think it's baloney. I think they were honestly, I think they were lying about their ability to do this. Nobody
Clickbait.
has. Yeah. Well, I don't think they wanted the clicks. I think they wanted to, get clients who thought that they could provide this. And maybe they thought this was an easier way of telling them how they got these shadow profiles of people than trying to explain the algorithms and stuff. I don't know. I don't think, I can't begin to imagine why they would say this when they really can't do this. So it's kind of wild.
When has that stopped anybody else?
Right. They're marketers. That's their job.
Right.
So, just keep up, listen to, podcasts who tell you about this sort of stuff. But the fact is they have a lot of data about you, but they're not getting it by listening to you. That's really the bottom line. All right, let's move on to some more to some of our headlines. And before we do that, I want to take a moment to thank our patrons who make it possible for us to create the secrets of technology, including Christopher H., Vincenza C., Marcus, and Gwyn M. and Joshua F. Their generous donations at sqpn.com/give make it possible for us to continue the secrets of technology and all the shows at StarQuest. And you can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. So here's one of our headlines. And I thought this would be interesting for you, Joanne, because you're our, this is an area where you do have some expertise for us, is the headline is consumers are paying more than ever for streaming TV each month, and analysts say there's no reason for the companies to stop raising prices.
And you're only paying that much if you are not keeping track of your subscriptions.
Right, which a lot of people aren't. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I have a spreadsheet, and it actually keeps track of most of my subscriptions. Now, of course, there's Rocket, and there's all these other, there's Bobby, and a few other ones that will do that. And if you want to do that, fine. I tried, but I'm a visual person. So if I line up January to December and everybody I'm paying, whether it's yearly or monthly, it for me helps me to say, okay, I have to make sure I get rid of this one by here because I did the Black Friday deals. Right. And that's another thing. If you're going to do this, do the Black Friday deals because I got Hulu and Disney Plus with ads, unfortunately, for a year for $2 a month.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's some really crazy ones you can get. But yes, they are raising prices. What I don't think people take into account, and some of these analysts and stuff take into account, is that people are able to unsubscribe and resubscribe, and they go back and forth. Now, maybe that doesn't hurt the bottom line as much as we consumers would like to think it would, but it's helping us because why would I keep something around if I'm not watching it or waiting just for, you know, like for example, I turned on Netflix for 2 months to finish 1 month to finish The Crown because I can binge it. Right. Okay. I was able to watch one movie, Maestro, which that's a whole other story. I love Leonard Bernstein, but not so enamored with the movie. Yep. And I think I'm finishing this little mini series on the mysteries of faith about different relics. For those of you who like relics, it shuts off today. Right. I got in what I needed to get in with no ads, and I'm out. Right. People are subscribing. They're responding to this sort of thing by subscribing for a short period of time. When a show they want to watch drops, they binge it and then they unsubscribe. And I've been hearing more and more from people who are doing that. And then I think they're responding by like dragging out some shows, like one of the Netflix things it does is it drops 5 episodes this month and 5 next month. You know, they're trying to keep you on for a little longer. They tried that with The Crown, and I just waited until, because they were dropping the next set on the 16th of December. So I just waited till like the 12th of December and said, okay, here we go. Binge. Right. Because I can binge. I look at some of these series like this as an extended movie. Yeah. So I just I'll watch it and keep watching and keep watching. Right. So, but my fear in all of this is they're going to start doing more and more of the yearly things, almost like, let's see, what's that word? Contract. Yeah. Where they'll start going away from month to month and have you do an annual. Well, the other thing they're doing, which is less egregious, but is like weekly drops. Like Apple does this, Disney does this. Like a lot of the services now, Netflix was doing the drop it all at once, but a lot of the service now, Amazon Prime does this, where they release it, 1 episode a week. But the thing is they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit by having such short seasons. When it's 8 episodes, so I just need it to hang on for a couple months. Although they never drop it exactly at the beginning of a month, so you can at least have to carry over. Mm-hmm. I'm waiting right now for to finish up For All Mankind. season 4, because I was watching the morning show, and then in the middle of that they said, well, we're hiking the price $3 a month, and I'm like, not on me, you're not.
Right.
But I need to finish For All Mankind, and then I'm sorry, Apple, this is the one thing I have to jettison, because I'm not going to pay $10 a month for a limited catalog. Now, I might turn it on again if Napoleon shows up, because I do want to see that movie. But other than that, I don't watch Apple TV Plus except for those 2 shows.
So here's the thing, though, is I'm not going to get rid of it only because I have the Apple One bundle. I have all of the services. Different. And that's something Apple can do and Amazon does that Netflix can't do, right? That it can't give me a bundle of anything because it's only one thing. One of the things I've heard about is some of these companies like Apple or Amazon starting to kind of do the cable package deal where they start bundling other services in. So, you pay an extra $1 a month and you'll get Paramount Plus or something. I would love it to be $1. It'd probably be more, but but some amount cheaper than buying them both separately. So you're going to get Peacock, and Disney already does this with Hulu and ESPN. Because they own all of that.
Right. My husband is a huge Blue Bloods and NCIS fan. So I have Paramount Plus yearly, and I had it for $49.99 a year ago. And then when it came up again, I said, well, okay, I'll renew. And then it said, wait a minute, we'll give you the year for $89.99 instead of $100 and something. And I went, yeah, okay, good. That works for me. So you have to know, number one, your viewing habits.
Right.
The reason I keep Hulu around, even with ads, is because I am waiting for season 6 of The Handmaid's Tale. Even though right now I could care less how this finishes because they've pretty much soured me on some of it, but I'm curious. So let's finish it off. $2 a month, I'm not going to worry about it.
Yeah.
But for example, we've had Discovery Plus because, we like those dumb reality shows. It's mostly food and, building things. But Max has a lot of that catalog. So I took a deal with Max for 6 months. Now, am I watching anything with Max? No, I'm still watching the Discovery shows. Right. Which means when that finishes, I'll go back to ad-free Discovery. Because right now I don't have it on Max. I was kind of hoping I'd get into the Gilded Age. I still haven't. So, but you have to know your viewing habits. Then you need to put yourself on a schedule, because this is the only way this is going to work for people.
Right. We don't want to get back into what we got away from with cable, which is these giant bundles and hundreds of dollars a month being spent on, mostly stuff you're not watching. And
you can do it. It's easy to do it when your cable-like streamers, YouTube TV is, with tax $75 a month. Fubo TV with tax, and I'm talking the basic stuff, is $85 to $90 a month. You're already there. And then you're paying for your internet.
Right.
Whatever you're paying for your internet. Okay. So right now you're about $150, $160.
Yep. Okay. Prices have crept up. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all this, like in some cases, I think we're paying more than we used to when we just had cable. And
it depends on the deals you got. And I know it's where you are in the country. Around here, I don't hear the cable issues as much as I hear them, because I'm on every Reddit you can imagine for this. But in California, in the South, some remote places, they've got you where they want you.
Yeah. And
so they're going to make you pay. Around in New England, we still, thank God, have enough competition that, we can get away with, if Cox and Fios are fighting each other, the prices keep going down for internet access.
Right.
So you can do that. But unless you're ready to get an antenna and a device like I did, and I'm still on Tableau, I was able to get the bugs out of the Tableau, but still not where I want it. It's And it's your comfort level. I'm comfortable with doing this. My husband, not so much.
Right. Yeah. The annoyance of having to, unsubscribe, keep track. It's a lot of work to save some money. And a lot of people aren't going to do it.
And for him, it's which one has a guide.
Right.
People want that hour. There are still people who want the hour by hour guide because that's how they watch TV.
That's how they always grew up watching it. Yeah.
Right. You can't get Hulu, Netflix on an hour by hour guide.
It's just there. Yeah. It's just there. You watch it when you watch it. Yeah.
Yeah. You knew I'd talk a long time about this. Didn't you?
Yeah. Well, the latest adding insult to injury was Amazon's email this past week telling us Prime users, we're already paying $140 for Prime, and telling us basically what is it? How they put it? We're going to be adding ads to all of your Prime viewing, but we've added a new service. Oh, isn't it awesome? For just $2.99 a month, you can get it ad free. No. So what you're saying is, in order to keep the ad-free experience I've already had, I'm going to have to pay another $3 a month. You're basically jacking my price up by $3 a month. Thanks, Amazon.
Yeah. Here's the thing with Prime Video. There's not much there.
There's a handful of shows that I watch, and then otherwise I hardly watch it at all. Yeah.
Well, here's what Prime does. They'll give you so many things to watch, and then they're gone quickly. And when you go back to watch it, because you put it in your watch list, it's like, oh, now you have to rent it or buy it.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I gave up on, after the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I gave up on Prime Video. So they can do whatever they want because I'm not watching it.
I watch Reacher, Rings of Power, Wheel of Time. There's Bosch, although Bosch isn't on there now. I think it's on Freevee. But in any case, there's a handful of things I watch that come out, once every year, once every 2 years. In the case of Rings of Power, I'll deal with the ads when that happens. Then, I mean, I'll keep Prime because I use it for shopping and stuff like that. But I'm not paying the extra $3 a month for ad free. I'm just not gonna.
Yeah, I'm watching all these people on Reddit going, I'm gonna give up Prime. I've canceled Prime, and I'm sitting there going, okay, so when are you going to start screaming, now I'm paying too much for shipping from Amazon?
Yeah.
Just go back to Prime. And I buy too much stuff on Amazon that Prime still makes sense in that respect.
Same here.
Prime Video does not.
Father Corey was saying, he couldn't be with us today, but he was saying in our Slack discussion that where he is in Montana, he doesn't get the expedited shipping in general anyway. So it doesn't make sense for him to keep Prime without that. He's spending for the shipping anyway. So.
Yeah, we have. It's funny because I had something that I'm going to be talking about in the picks that I was watching the shipping yesterday, and it was saying, okay, it's now arrived at a facility in Taunton. I work in Taunton. I'm like, just bring it over here and don't bother going to my house.
I'll walk over.
We've got plenty of Amazon facilities around here. So Prime makes sense for us. For Father Corey, no.
Whenever I have something shipped via Prime, it could be coming through one of 5 different local warehouses that are within a couple miles of where I live. It's wild. Yeah, it is amazing here in these high density population areas. Let's move on to our next story. It's kind of a quick one, and it's a bit related to what we were talking about in our first segment, this court decision back in November that there was a class action lawsuit against 4 automakers that said that they had violated Washington state's privacy laws by using the vehicle's onboard infotainment systems to record and intercept customers' private text messages and mobile phone call logs. So when you would use the onboard system, so like GM's, what's it called? On call, I forget what it is.
Subaru's, believe it or not, is Starlink.
Oh, funny. That's funny.
Yeah, there it is.
Good. Yeah, GM is OnStar, Ford Sync. All these companies have a system, and when you make a call, or when you send a text, it will go through the system. Like if you're not doing it directly on your phone, if you're using they were intercepting that information and sending it in for this analysis and data collection and selling it to the highest bidder and all that sort of stuff. And people said that you shouldn't do that. That's wiretapping, right? I mean, listening to my phone calls, not listening to it, but just getting the data about who you called and when. They're not listening to the call. And that's the big thing is this court said that's not wiretap. That's not a violation of Washington state privacy. That's just, metadata, and metadata is everything.
And this is why GM is starting not to have CarPlay in their autos going forward. And I will not, thank God, if Subaru does that, we're done. Yeah. But I'm getting it. My next car, hopefully in the spring, is going to be another Subaru, and I need CarPlay. Because that's not going to happen in CarPlay. When I connect my phone now, it goes through dumping my contacts. It goes through dump. So they've got all that information. And in order to use your phone, and the systems are crappy. I hate to say it. I've lived with it. I'm sorry if that's if I did the wrong word there, but it's lousy. You can't. They click on and off. People tell me they can't hear me sometimes. And think about it. If you've got every car comes with the ability to have satellite radio in it. So there's already a two-way connection going somewhere.
Yeah. Even if you're not paying for Sirius XM or whatever, there's still that connection in the car.
Yet they can't keep the maps up, and you have to go buy a new micro SD card to put and get your maps updated. Yeah, right, sure.
The old, the auto nav systems, the auto infotainment systems are crazy. And if you're buying a vehicle, get one with CarPlay or Android Auto, because then you're not using their system, and that's why GM doesn't want to use those, doesn't want to allow those, because it prevents them from getting this data, which is valuable. They're making money off of selling this data to data brokers. Again, yes. So something to keep in mind. And then our last story, there was something that started happening, being reported last fall. I don't think it's been fixed yet. Basically, I'm trying to follow this, but some users of Google Drive have been reporting that their files have mysteriously disappeared from their drives. In many cases, going back to like the state of their Google Drive rolls back to May of 2023 for some people. For others, other weird missing data is getting lost. There is an article we'll put in the show notes that basically will tell you, Google has confirmed that this is happening. They're not sure why, which is never a good sign. But also telling you how to find the data. They did track it down to where it may have ended up, but they did track it down to the Google Drive app on desktops, Windows and Mac OS. So if you're not using the Google Drive app, then you might be safe. I don't use the Google Drive app. I just always go through the browser. To me, it feels safer that way.
Yes, we use Google for nonprofits. Yep. And I did notice, and I thought it was something maybe my boss did, that I could no longer get into the shared drive that we had. And I was like, why did that happen? So I had to have him reassign me back into it. And I'm wondering if that's part of what's going on, because I couldn't get in there. Once he put me back in, I was fine. But he said he hadn't done anything on his end.
Interesting.
Weird. And he found it funny that I wasn't there. Yeah. Because I'm an admin too. So it's not like as an admin, I have power to go many different places, but.
And do you have using the Google Drive app on your computer or?
No, I go through the browser. Okay. I'm always through the browser.
Could be another one of the glitches that happens in Google.
Gee.
Yeah. I've run into a few things like that on occasion, but this is it's not a widespread problem, but it's a bad one if you run into it. And there'll be links in the show notes for, ways to track down your find your files if they are missing. So those were our headlines. Let's move on to our picks of the week. Joanne, why don't you go ahead with your pick this week?
Well, my pick of the week arrived yesterday, as I said earlier. And what I have been looking for is a way to expand the storage memory of my lovely little MacBook 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Problem is these MacBooks come, and I now will say the mantra: when buying a new MacBook, get as much storage as possible.
Yes.
And then some.
Yes.
Think about what you're going to use and then double it.
Get as much as you possibly can afford to buy.
Right.
Yes.
I went and bought the bargain basement M1 with 512. Okay. And have always been offloading things ever since. So, of course, we have the lovely SD card.
Yep.
But the problem with SD cards is that they stick out.
Yeah.
So now you've got the problem of when you put it in a case, is it starting to rub? Is it going to hurt? Is it going to break? Is it going to, so what I started looking up is there any that are kind of flush to the side? And they do, someone does make it. It's based, I want to say base key, the BASQI. It's an aluminum micro SD card adapter. And they make it especially for MacBooks of different ages. So you can get one that fits older MacBooks. You can get them that fit the newer MacBooks. So I bought the one that fits the MacBook Pro 14-inch, 16-inch. Now this thing is tiny.
Yep.
Okay. And then you have to put the micro in. It does not come. You can buy them with the micro, but I had already bought a micro SD in a traditional housing unit.
Uh-huh.
So I put it in the small one, pushed it in, and it's flush.
Yeah.
Completely. So now my computer has another 512. Okay, It's going to be a little slower because micro SD cards are slower, but I can put things there that I don't use all the time. I can get some things out of my iCloud that shouldn't be there because I also use the iCloud at work. But now I have a place for it, and I'm not going to, my hard drive's not going to be saying, please, you're killing me.
Right.
Now the problem is once you put them in, they're kind of hard to get out. You need a good long nail or a little, I have my iFixit kit, so I can always pull it out that way.
Tweezers or a little screwdriver or something. Yeah.
But I'm not planning on taking it out.
Right. Like if you're the sort of person who needs SD cards on a regular basis to put them in there, I mean, you could get like
not for you.
Well, or you can get a HyperDock that has like a docking dongle that has it in that, and use that to do your SD cards that you go in and out regularly. But I had one of these in one of my older MacBooks, so some time ago, and it worked pretty well. I think I kept my my photo library on it. I would tend to put things on it that are also somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Because SD cards can fail, or back it up. Make sure you're backing it up. But you can get 2 terabyte, micro SD cards, which I think is amazing.
I just wanted to double because of the video work that I do.
Right.
So now I can put the video stuff in there while I'm working on it and not have it on the hard drive driving me nuts. All of a sudden saying you only have this much space left and blah, blah, blah. Believe me, next computer is going to have 2 terabyte.
It's not as fast as the SSD, but it is fast enough for most things. And it's only $35, which is not including the external SSD. Like a terabyte, I just bought a terabyte micro SD for our Steam Deck, and that was like $70 on sale or something like that. So not too bad.
Yeah, I got the other one with the traditional housing for $22 on a Black Friday sale.
That's adding half a gig, half a terabyte of storage to your computer for essentially around $60, $50. That's a pretty good deal.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
so this is if it fails, I'll let you know. But
nice.
So far, so good.
So my pick this week is a new web browser. I'm picking it, even though this isn't going to become my regular daily driver web browser. I'm still a Safari guy, but it's a very interesting browser, and it's from a company called The Browser Company, and it's called Arc. And it's a Chrome-based browser, so it uses the Chromium engine. And it's all about, the way the company pitches it is they went back to basics. They stripped it down because browsers have become everything these days, and they've accumulated so many features. They went back to the drawing board, started from scratch, and said, what do we want in a browser? And so this browser is all about the sidebar. It has this sidebar, and everything happens there. Like, for example, a lot of browsers they'll have tabs, and the tabs go across the top of the thing, and you click on it. And this one, all the tabs show up just in a list in the sidebar on the left, and there are two sections for it. There's a top section for pinned tabs and a lower section for unpinned tabs, and you can do all kinds of things like you can have the unpinned tabs archived every so often. Now, they're not closed per se. They go into an archive area, and then you can go into that archive. Because my wife, Melanie, has about 70 or 80 tabs open at any given time, maybe more. And it's, it drives me crazy because she can never find anything. And I'm like, if you use this browser, it would archive it. You could search for what you're looking for, but it's not there in your face all the time. It also has something called spaces, which is kind of like profiles. So you can have different spaces for whether like work and personal, or even just different contexts. Like I have different contexts, like when I'm podcasting versus when I'm, say, editing episodes versus when I'm doing, helping patrons or something. So the browser is really nice. You can pin tabs in that section, and you get access to them on a regular basis, and the pins can change based on what profile you're in, and then you can have some pin tabs that are there all the time. So it's a nice lightweight browser that really works well.
I might give this a shot because if it reminds me, it's so old school. It's the way browsers were in the beginning.
Yes.
And I kind of like that. Now having them all across the top and then having to go find your bar and find out what drop that down. And yeah, I don't have time for all that. I might give this one a shot myself.
And one of the nice things is you can create folders of open tabs. That's a really nice thing. So you can, put them in a folder, label the folder. These are all Christmas shopping tabs that are open. These are all articles I want to read about such and such. So you can take your open tabs and organize them more, which is really great. Nobody else does that. And another nice thing is the command for opening a new tab is Command T, and it pops up a box. It looks like Alfred or some of these other services. So it pops up a box, and you can start typing a web address. But you can also type commands, actions that you want the browser to do, like, settings to change, but it's just all right there. It's sort of like Spotlight. So you can do a lot with just a keyboard and not having to pick up a mouse to do things in it. So it's worth a shot if you're kind of the sort of person who's interested in trying different browsers. Arc is one to check out, and of course it's free, like I think almost all browsers are these days. So it's a nice alternative to what else is out there, and it's not bloated, and that's a big thing. A lot of these browsers are so full of stuff that they fill up your memory, they fill up your hard drive, they drag your CPU to a halt. You have to reboot them every once in a while. This is a pretty lightweight browser, so it's nice. So arc.net is the website for.
I have a question. Does it work with a browser? I'm sorry. Does it work with a password keeper? Yes.
Like I was able to log in using 1Password, but I don't think it's got the extension for 1Password installed. I think it was 1Password has a function where it can insert passwords from anywhere, but 1Password was recognizing, oh, I'm logged into like my Google account. You're at Google. Here's the Google passwords.
Okay. All right.
So yes, I could use 1Password with it. I'm not sure what other password managers, but certainly
I have Bitwarden. So
yeah, give it a shot.
I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, they might have an extension. It's Chromium based, so I think you can actually install all the Chrome extensions with it. Actually, I do. Let me change that. I did install the 1Password extension in it, so you can install any if it's got a Chrome extension, which I think Bitwarden does. You can use it. So definitely ad blockers, all that sort of stuff are available for it. So that's it for us this time. We would love to hear what you think of our discussion, anything we had to talk about today. You can let us know by commenting on the show at sqpn.com/technology or the StarQuest Facebook page, facebook.com/StarQuestMedia. send an email to technology@sqpn.com, or visit the StarQuest Discord community at sqpn.com/discord, where in the Secrets of Tech channel, there's all kinds of, we help people with troubleshooting certain things and all kinds of stuff. So, if you have a question tech related, show up there. Give us an ask. The community will help you figure it out. You'll find links from our discussion and our picks of the week on our show notes at starquest.fm/TEC239. And remember to like each episode of Secrets of Tech wherever you encounter us on social media, like on Facebook, retweet us on Twitter, where we're at SQPN, and leave us comments too. So until next time, Joanne Mercier, thank you for joining me and sharing the secrets of technology.
Thanks, Dom.
And once again, I'm Dom Bettinelli. Thank you for listening to the Secrets of Technology on StarQuest. Here's another show on the StarQuest Network you're sure to enjoy, The Secrets of Sacred Art. Find it wherever fine podcasts are found or at starquest.fm/art.